Hello and welcome, it's Pete again, and today we are going to be going through Tim Holtz Chapter 1. We're going to be looking at each die. We're talking about what makes those dies so special. Well, the name Tim Holtz for a start, but we're also going to be looking at some project ideas. So stick around. Hey, if you've got any comments, anything that you love, anything you need to know, just pop them in the comments. We'd love to hear from you, and we do like to read them. So stick around and we're going to have some fun. So I'm going to start off with, this is called bold text number 1. Now you'll notice there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, there's 7 different dies in this set. The reason I'm starting with this is because it is very, very versatile. It's one you'll go back to time and time again. The phrases are eternal, feel-good phrases, and you'll notice it's number 1, so that means there's number 2 around the corner, and probably number 3 as well. So it's going to be part of a series, and it's going to be good to have them all. Now, let's take a look at what you're getting in this set, because there it doesn't look that big, but when you see the size of the phrases you're going to get, and all of these are the same width, so they fit on that big tag size. But that is the positive, that is the negative, so you're getting both, and that's part of the key to the versatility of this gorgeous set. Because you can use them together, you can use them apart, you can use these, you can use the negative, you can die cut into, well, actually I'm getting ahead of myself, we'll see all that in a second. This is one where I did an ink background and cut through underneath as well. Why? I don't know, just for fun. Doesn't matter, does it? So there you go. Now let's take a look at a few of the project makes, and we'll keep it simple to start off with. We'll look at some cards. Now, this one here, you can see what I've done. What I've done here is I've actually used the same die and I layered it up 4 times. So I made 1 cut, took the die out, switched it round, made another cut, another cut, another cut, and it left this square in the center in which I put my hearts. That's one way to use it. Now say you cut it out of stencil film or white card, then you can use that as a stencil, and you can see this here, there's no die cuts there, it's just been inked through. So I inked through the stencil to create that kind of offset vibe. Now if you stencil with thicker card, you can actually use some 3D adhesive. That's the Sizzix 3D adhesive, and I used the lovely decorative foil sheets over the top to get that gorgeous sumptuous color, and you can see we got the texture as well. So that's by stenciling through the die cut. This one, slight extension of what I was doing before, simple ink background. You can see these hearts here. These hearts, we'll be talking about those coming up as well. But a really cute, really simple card, but a lot of impact with that. Now, how about making a shaker card? It's a really simple, shaker cards don't work on TV, they just don't. But trust me, that is full of lovely sequins and beads, which we've applied there. And that's simply by cutting into the card and letting the negative space do all the work for you. Now, for the man in your life, maybe a more masculine card going on. How about this one? This is just using craft card. Same thing, but what we've put some of Tim's cogs and metal findings in there. So there you go. That's another shaker cut. That's another way of using it. You want to get kind of mixed media. You want to use your glazes. You want to use resists, whatever you need. But again, from a stencil point of view, here you go. How about making your own bespoke gift wrap? Again, with those lovely hearts going across there. Really quick and easy, simple to do, absolutely gorgeous. How about something like this? A lovely frame. Now there's my daughter there. These hearts again coming in with this wood grain. Again, we'll talk about that, but that's a kind of a more mixed media kind of vibe. But they're so much fun to work with. You can put them at different angles. It doesn't mean they have to be in the center of the card perfectly straight. They can be offset. That's the point of this. It's a really funky set, and you're going to love the versatility. Now, one last thing. This lovely jar. It looks like a glazed jar, but what I've actually done, now I hope you can pick this up. It says, hello there, make a wish. What I did is I used a texture paste and I put it through the stencil to create the letters. Then I just painted over the top with this glaze. So it looks like a glazed pot, but it's actually not, because we've got those letters going on underneath there. So that is bold text number 1. You will see this coming up again and again with some of the other dies, but let's just put that together for one moment out of the way, because I'm not doing these in any particular order today, by the way. I'm just picking them at random, whatever I fancy. And that's the great thing, it doesn't really matter. So how about this? This is simple plaid. Now, it's crisscrossing lines. None of them are completely parallel. The thickness varies on them. It's absolutely wonderful for creating backgrounds. But you might think that, well, you know, is it really that versatile? Yes, it is. It's one of the most versatile dies in this particular collection, because there's so much that you can do with it. Let's see the size of the die. That's it. That's how it comes out. Now let's say we do 2 colors, crisscross them to create this lovely background. You know, that's almost a tartan. You could put green in the background, change it up. How about, well, we talked about a background. There you go. So that's an inked one, which has been trimmed to size. And you can see it's not the full thing. It's just in the background there. Absolutely so versatile, so useful, and it lends itself to a lot of different styles as well. Now, I know I was talking to Tim, and he was saying, you know, the different things that you can do with this, it's, you know, you have to think outside the box. When you get a die like this that is versatile, you have to think, well, what can I do with it? So this is something that I did in the spirit of the artist Mondrian, and that's just cutting it in half and paper piecing with some of these different colors. And then there's a guy, one of my favorite artists from the Glaswegian school, Charles René Mackintosh. This is kind of similar to his stained glass work. So again, same kind of vibe, but it's using that set. And this is one that we will see coming up time and again. With all the different makes. So I'm going to put these to one side, and that was simple plaid. Absolutely gorgeous. Now, next up, another one which is super versatile is this. This is wood grain. Now, this is one of Tim's colorized dies. Now, if you don't know what colorized is, if you've not come across it before, it's kind of like, the best analogy is kind of painting by numbers with cardstock or die cutting. So let me explain what I mean by that. I'm going to reach over and I'm going to take some samples. So this is the actual size. This is how they come out. But what I've done there, you can see I've cut different shades of browns, and how it goes together is like this. So you start off with your base color. That could be a dark brown. I've chosen black. Then I've gone with a darker brown, then a medium, and then finally this light for the detail. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4 dies there, and here again 1, 2, 3, 4 different dies. So there's 7 in total, because this one obviously is repeated. And just by layering it up, different colors of cardstock, you get these wonderful results. Now, you don't have to use colored cardstock. You can use plain cardstock and ink it up, so you can get different gradations of ink as well. This is using distress inks and some splatter techniques. So if you want to get that kind of vibe going on, that's equally as cool. How about this? This is using acrylics and a kind of a resist technique to get that kind of careworn old planks. Maybe you see by the seaside, it's got a kind of a, yeah, it's got a seasidey kind of vibe there. This is something that I created, and again, there is our bold text in the center there. But this, you can see, is just these planks layered up, this wood grain layered up onto the front of a journal. And this is just regular mat board. And you can see I've dry brushed this. I've got that effect through dry brushing. But again, it's one of those versatile ones. It's one of those that you're going to see coming up again and again. It's great for backgrounds. It's also great if you want to make kind of signs, you know, like this way to the beach or something like that. You know, it's great. And you know, if you're a fan of Tim's, if you love your mixed media stuff, you will know how useful and how versatile this die set can be. So that is wood grain, colorize. So we'll put that one to one side. And next, we shall dip into the joys of stacked tiles. Now, this is stacked tiles hearts. We've seen circles, squares, hexagons, ovals, triangles. Have I missed any? I don't think so. Rectangles. This is hearts. Now, what we're looking at here is 25 dies. So let me just grab my examples at the back. This is what you're going to get. You got 25 dies, 5 sets of 5. Why have 5 sets of 5? Well, that will become apparent shortly, but it's just really handy to have multiples like that. Some examples of what we've done. Let's start off going down that mixed media route. How about this? The techniques that it's too difficult, take too long to get into it, but that they have a really nice vibe. I use stamps and resists and so on and so forth. And that base, if you're interested in the texture on that base, that'll be coming in a little later on. We'll talk about that. Now, how about maybe taking some of those hearts, creating a butterfly? How about making them, using them for a little shaker card? You see my hearts have got stuck there, but it did used to work. It's a cracking little shaker card, that one. Or something like this, something nice and simple and graphic. A couple of cards here. Now, how did I create that look? Well, quite simple. I used Tim's adhesive sheets, and what you do is sticky grid sheets rather. So they're a low tack sheet. So because there's a grid, I can line up all my hearts, and you can see then what I do is I take the card and I put it face down against there, and it creates the apertures like that. So again, sticky grid sheets, lots of different hearts, quite random this time. I simply cut the white card and overlaid it onto a inked background. That's simple, and that's why it's really handy having multiples of these. It really is so much fun. A classic heart shape, of course, as well. So let's put those to one side. That one's quite self-evident, those hearts, and I'll put this over here for later. Now, next up, let's get funky. Let's take a look at paper cut chicks. Again, this is a colorized one. You're getting the 2 chicks, you're getting the egg, and you're getting this wonderful base. And we'll talk a bit about that base. How many dies in this one? 12 dies in total. Now, these are your chicks. This is just cutting them from different colors of card. And with a colorized die, on the back of each die, it will say, or it will suggest which color to use. So it might be yellow 1, yellow 2, yellow 3. So you know how to layer it up. Also, with each die, it embosses detail so that you know exactly where to position the next layer. Tim really has thought this through for you guys. So there's a very simple one, again, using some of our bold text. Here's another one, just one guy on his own standing on top of the egg with brave wings she flies. And look at that background. Look at that white picket fence. Where did that come from, folks? Well, I'll tell you. It came from the simple plaid. Remember that one at the beginning? And that's all I did. I just cut it up, snipped a little bit, put it behind the mound there. And this mound, incidentally, you know what? If you have any of the colorized animals, many of you, I'm sure, collect the different animals, it makes a great base for them to stand on, or a watering hole or whatever it might be. So bear that in mind. Then there's the one. This is one that Josh made. You can see there's the wood grain background as well. You've got the mound, you've got the egg. Really, really cute. So that's paper cut chicks. love that set. Really cute, really spring, really fresh, really Eastery, but they also work by themselves. You can use these guys together, you can use them on their own. It doesn't have to be spring and Easter. You know, you choose the right sentiment, these guys can be coming up time and time again. Now, next up, we shall look at bunny games. Bunny games is this one. You're getting the full bunny, the little guy peeping over the top. You're getting these two lovely Easter eggs. However, if you turn them upside down, you're getting balloons. You're getting the floral elements as well, and this wonderful bunting. Let's take a look at some of the things that we've made with them. That's a board showing what you're getting in the set. So again, you die cut the different tones, you build it up like that. It's not a colorized set, it's just got all this gorgeous detail. I love the style of this. It is so fresh, so clean and contemporary. You don't get that background. I just put that there just to show some contrast. If we take it here, there you go. There's your bunnies. There is your bold text number 1 and the simple plaid in the background. I told you we'd be seeing more of that, didn't I? And slightly darker again. There's the simple text in the background. You know, you can put the flowers where you like. You can double up on the bunting. You can take it out. You can add it in. You can use that bunny by itself. You can use them together. It's a very versatile set. You can just use the eggs, maybe some florals at the base. You know, the amount of possibilities with a die set like this, even though it creates a scene, using the elements individually also works perfectly well. And here they are in a little box there. You can see we've got that lovely embossed background as well. And that's an embossing folder we will be taking a look at in due course. So let's put bunny games to one side. I did tell you we've got a lot to go through. Next up, Gladys. Gladys, a good Welsh name. I approve of it. It's another colorized, and it's another addition to Tim's ever popular colorized animals. Now, Gladys is, as you can see, a flamingo, and this is how she comes out. So there's lots of different dyes, lots of, oops, I bent her a bit there. Lots of stunning detail depending on the cardstock you choose. It doesn't have to be cardstock. You could create the colors as I've done here using distress oxides. And you can see Gladys now. Let's, oh, you know what? Ah, there you go. I thought she had a broken leg for 1 minute. Apologies, I shall fix this when I get back up. Sorry, Gladys. So what we've got here, you can see she's standing on this lovely platform which came with the paper cut chicks. Remember I was telling you about that? This background is, of course, the simple plaid, and we have our bold text as well. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 different die sets from this collection, all working in perfect harmony. Really cute. Here's another one, slightly more muted tones there, again using the bold text in the background. But I want to show you how Gladys fits in with the rest of our friends. We got Clarence, we got Gladys, we got Gertrude, Winifred, Bernice, and Harrison there at the end. So you can see how she fits in size-wise, stylistically exactly the same. The artwork is all created by the same designer. So, you know, it's always going to sit together. So it's a wonderful collection to build up, and I know many of you have already started doing that. And that is Gladys. Now, a couple more die sets to go, and then we're going to be looking at the wonderful 3D embossing folders. But I'm going to start with Lovestruck. Lovestruck is another colorize, and you know, this again is for all year round. You know, love is in the air. It doesn't really matter. It comes in great for Valentine's, of course, but it also works for birthdays. It works for anniversaries, even at Christmas. You know, you get your colors right. Who am I to say? So that is Lovestruck, and let us take a look at some of the things that we've created. First of all, this is the board. And it is colorized, as I say, so you 1, 2, 3, 4 layers, the same with the smaller heart, and of course we've got the arrow at the back. Again, you know, you could use inks to create that color, to get some texture, to make it a little bit more mixed media. And you'll notice that the background here is actually, there it is again, a simple plaid. Didn't I tell you we'd be seeing a lot more of that? Then something more monochromatic. This is dry brushed. We've got the simple plaid. Again, in the background, the smaller heart and this lovely embossed motif, which, as I keep explaining, we're going to be seeing coming up. But it's good to know that you can use these different dyes in so many ways, in so many different makes, and that they all go together. And finally, there you go. Now, we've got the heart there. We've also got our bold text, and we have that wonderful, wonderful wood grain in the background there. So again, a very versatile set, really, really cute, lovely. I love the style of this, but you know, you don't have to use those 4 hearts laid up. You can use them individually, you can use them singly, or just 2. It's entirely up to you. You know, Tim does a lot of the hard work for you, but he puts a lot of the creativity back in your hands, and he dares you to be different. He says, hey, go where you want with this. This is your die set now. You know, do what you want. Show us what you can do. You know, we love to see it. So, you know, put it in the comments what you've done, or send in photographs. We would love to see them. Now, that is Lovestruck. There's one more die set to go, and this is Bird and Egg Colorize. Now, this is a colorized, but not like we've seen in the past with the animals. You know Tim's brushstroke florals? This is in that same size, so same style rather. So it's kind of like, it's almost like it's taken a watercolor painting as the inspiration and broken that down with the color values. And let's take a look at some of the things that I've done with that. Now this is a board showing you the size of the bird and the egg, and again, by getting the cardstock right, by getting these layers, you know, there is a guide on the back of the colorized dies saying which colors to layer up with, but you know what, do what you want. You do it your way. It doesn't really matter what we say, but you know, this one, for example, that's a really kind of mixed media thing going on. We've used acrylics and we've used the resist there, so that's quite monochromatic. Then again, this is just the plain cut. Well, it's anything but plain. It's gorgeous cardstock. But again, simple plaid in the background. Then we've got a bold text coming in there as well. These are 2 that I did, which I haven't got around to using yet, but I rather like them. They're using a sort of resist techniques there, but that's just very, very plain, very straightforward. And finally talking about that watercolor vibe, we've got, you can see I've used distress inks this time to get those rich browns, the deep browns, the warm browns, wow, so much going on there. But and again, yeah, I don't know if you can see the background there or the sides of this, but this is using our next embossing folder, which we'll talk about in a minute. That's Quilted. And then finally, die cutting the bird and inking through it to create, again, your own wrapping paper. This is a great way of crafting with your kids as well. You know, they love this sort of thing. You can just lay it down, ink through. It's pretty foolproof, but the effects are quite stunning. Now, that one is Bird and Egg. And finally, this is going to lead me on to 3D embossing. I've got so many projects here. I don't know what to do with them, but I'm going to start off with Quilted. And this is it. And really, this time, Tim has excelled himself. Tim and Ryan at Sizzix HQ, who works on these for Tim, they work together to really push the boundaries of 3D embossing technology. And this one, the Quilted, let me lift up a board to show you, probably best this one. So this is just on black card, and you can see I've used gilding waxes to pick up the detail. But each of these stitches is individual. It's kind of like an old leather seat, you know, like a gentleman's club. Do they still have such things? But not only have you got this wonderfully delicate leather effect distressing there, but it is also quilted. So this is kind of domed. So the whole thing, when it's 3D embossing, it actually, these are not flat, these are slightly domed. So I don't know if you can pick that up there, but it's a stunning effect. And this is it in negative, so this is, so you can use it as an emboss or deboss. And then finally, and I'm going to put my thumb over here because stained that there, but I've told you about it now, so what's the point? But here we are. This one's debossed and inked, so you're getting that wonderfully luxurious quilted leather vibe going on, and I've used it for various backgrounds. You can see I used it for the edge of that shadow box, and you can see for the background as well. Really, really cool embossing folder, and the detail in each of the individual stitches as well. Not just the stitch itself, there's actual detail in the stitches. And next up, I want to show you damask. Because it's gorgeous. It's absolutely glorious. And this is how the folder comes out. That's the full size there. And not only has it got all these little detailed areas, but these kind of like acanthus leaves, they're rippled. They don't just emboss. It's hard to explain, but they're actually undulating. It's stunning. You can probably see it better with this one, to which I've applied Sizzix luster waxes to pick up the details. So there's rose gold, gold, and silver there, getting that lovely detail going on. This one simply I embossed onto rose gold card, and I ran some like antiquing cream over the top and just brushed it away. This one is dry brushed. Again, this one is using brown acrylics to get a kind of a rust finish. Again, this one was the same thing, but with paint dragging over the I mean, it goes on and on and on. The techniques that you can use, there's a lovely little notepad here. It's stunning. And look, you can wrap, if you take a 3D embossing folder, you can wrap it around a 3D object like a candle as well. So that one's there, that's dry brush, that's one of the hearts from Heartfelt. And I alluded to this at the time. Now, where did I put it? Oh yeah, this one here. This one here, using those lovely hearts from the stack tile set, but the base, I said this base is rather interesting. And again, that's our embossing folder, that's our damask, but with simple dry brushing. It's a technique that anybody can do, and it doesn't take you long to get up to this level. It really doesn't. It's a simple one, but it's stunning, and that's what we like. That's what we like. So let's put those to one side, because this is a final embossing folder, and it's absolutely great. It's called Doily. It's called Doily, and this is it. And it's a very vintage doily, vintage lace doily, but I can't, you need to see this to believe it close up, because the detail in each individual piece of this lace doily is incredible. The stitches, the way, so kudos to Tim and Ryan for getting this one as stunning as it is. There it is as an inked background, so very subtle, very gentle. Now you can see it here. We've done it for the front. This is this time the deboss, and that's using our lovely some of our lovely texture roll. So that's a gorgeous texture roll there. It's just such a classic look, such a classic vintage. Now, there is one of the things about this is, because you have this wide expanse of nothingness going on, that gives you an area on which you can apply your die cuts, you can apply stamps, but because of that area, it doesn't just go edge to edge like an all 3D embossing folder. So you can do something like that. So you can put a larger piece of card in, and it just gives you all this blank space. You can go from top to bottom with a longer one as well. It's very versatile in the way you can position your card, juxtaposing it alongside that. You can ink up probably we should do a video on it, but you can actually ink up your embossing folder on one side and then emboss it, as I have done on this tag. I'm not going to explain that process, but yeah, I think definitely we need a live showing how you can do that. So there we are. Again, that is quilted. Oh, check this out. This is a lovely little home decor item that I did. Where I did the inking, and it kind of looks like that Portuguese towel kind of thing going on. So again, lots of techniques going on, and lots of fun. Most of them very, very simple, very straightforward. So, wow, I think I need to take a breather. maybe get a drink of something, because I've been talking for a long time now, probably more than I've talked all week. But I hope you enjoyed that. That's sort of a deep dive into the Tim Holtz Chapter 1. As I always say, if you want to find out a little bit more about these, find out about the original inspiration, then go to Tim's website or find it linked on our website as well, and he will be able to tell you exactly where the ideas came from and how you can create some beautiful projects using this Chapter 1 set. I've had so much fun making these projects, and we're almost on to Chapter 2. Is it hard to believe? But there you go. So thank you very much for joining me today. It's been an absolute pleasure. My name is Pete, and for any more inspiration, for any projects, for any makes, go to Sizzix.com if you're in the US, or Sizzix.co.uk for the rest of the world. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you again soon.